I'm so glad you guys
Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at this confident bastard. Look at this shit everywhere.
Come on now.
What's that? Your overlord has returned. Younger jet-lagged. I, James Otter, roaring and soaring for Poetry Night.
Oh, yeah.
After witnessing the heavens, dining with kings and queens, wandering lost in an ocean of alleyways and cellar doors, I, James Otter, made it back to my true home. This event, known as Page 2 Poetry I welcome you, yes, you, all of you, to another night of anything can freaking happen poetry. Compliments. My heart has been waiting for this night, planning and plotting and burping patiently to listen, to indulge my senses in music from the soul, deep words, hidden meanings, and all of your lovely smiles. Before we start this brilliant, inspiring event, I would like to make my obligatory Halloween announcement. An enthusiastic fuck yeah! Yes! And may I get a volunteer to pass that lovely box around the room? Yes.
A volunteer.
Fuck yeah, thank you. I have acquired a good deal of showcase poets for the Serial Killers Ball. I am still looking for more. Number 2, I have begun the design process for this year's event. On top of killers, I am seeking willing volunteers for a frightening pre-show event. Who thinks that's a fucking awesome idea? Ah, not enough. That's okay. As well, I need lots and lots of help with set design and building. Number 3, all your donations are helping. If you have supplies or time to donate, that is one of the ultimate gifts you can bring to this lovely poetry night. With that said, I am still accepting any and all donations. For more questions, ask me after the show or look for me on social media. Thank you. Now for the final part of the intro. The rules! Tonight you get 8 minutes to perform anything. Number 2, no personal attacks on Poet's audience. This includes bigoted hate speech. Solid rule, you fucking know that. Number 3, give credit where credit's due. This has been a problem in the past. It won't be a problem no more. Number 4, turn your cell phone the fuck off or on silent. And one more thing. By getting on this stage, you consent to be filmed.
Woohoo!
And occasionally live streamed if it's not going to be a piece of shit. On YouTube or Facebook. How's that for fucking surprise? With that said and done, let me get this show on the road with a brand new poem. Who here likes to say fuck yeah? Fuck yeah, excellent.
Hell no on Halloween.
Hell no! Who the fuck said that?
He's pretending, don't worry.
I know. Alright, get ready to get disturbed, maybe. This is fucked up. To fit the theme of Halloween. So, trigger warning. If it gets intense, I won't take it personally if you step outside. Please hurt someone on purpose. Violations. Verbal, legal, physical, socio-psycho. Come back to the yard for me. Don't run. Walk slowly. It pains me to see you. So fortunate. Happy with a smile, money in the pocket. Digging into me. Show off. I latch on to people. Mentally. Better to know what helps people relax. I hear every joint pop. Every shallow breath, listening to the heart stutter and stammer. All it takes is one swift motion to open someone up physically. I prefer to use a Stanley box cutter. Cleaner, quicker, better for detail. Have you ever heard of the perfect weapon? One that can never be found, gets the job done, and then it's never found. My philosophy makes my head spin. Used to be easier not to believe. Learning to pretend to feel. It starts to rub off over time. This must be what it's like to be a computer. Forever observing, learning, calculating, cold with warm blood. It's better this way. Standing out, blending in, always learning new and interesting words, able to focus. I have a gift. Born special, top of every class, charming. Learned behavior, all of it. Lies. I don't really feel anything. My life as it's presented, it's an illusion. And I am the master magician, pulling the curtain, cutting the strings. I have all the cards, including my victims. Prefer the tarot. It's fun to pretend. Fate has a hand in all of my shortcomings. Playing pretend, playing pretend, playing pretend just like a child. Pretending to be a cop. A good cop with a dead wife and an accidental miscarriage. Never wanted to be dad, not mean enough. I don't have it in me to beat a kid and let them grow up just like me. Pick a card, any card, lovely choice. This is my card, the old maid. My kind of people win no matter what. It's an impulse, a healthy one. An unhealthy impulse is to run people over, slowly creep behind them for a few blocks. Follow them to work. Do this for a week until the schedule is learnt. Nah, no time. Slam on the gas. Bowling pins fell the morning before Columbine. The day before 9/11, people had been out drinking, ready for a long flight, travel stressed. World War II was inspired by a life of rejection. Jeffrey Dahmer kept his feelings buried. Ed Gein was afraid of God, beaten and shamed. Charles Manson had a good way with words. Nobody knows who they will be when they grow up. I didn't plan on people. I didn't plan on killing people. It simply happened. On accident. I enjoyed it. Kind of like the first time I tried sushi. I was hesitant with the weird ingredients. Over time, it was all I wanted to eat. Yeah. Oh, you see. Haunted people have reason to fear the shadows. A love for fear, the lust to stay alive and to remain warm at all times. Petite thoughts. Get into a car, a smooth ride, shitty driver, on guard every hour of every ride across town. One night, on the remote moon of inner city Vegas, all the stress wasn't where it should be. The conscious instinct to stay awake, lest the driver swerve into oncoming traffic, goes forgotten, ignored, interrupted by relief. Trust in others is the leading cause of trauma. Our guilty inner doubts serve a purpose, an important one at that. Friends, family, and recent acquaintances, people we must rely on, in control of the wheel. Drunk, high, panicked, unfocused, or lighthearted. Testing the water is a brand new beast. Tamed, captured, and shipped across the far seas into trembling hands. Safety never truly exists, not in a car. It's safer to get mugged. The devil's ears are everywhere, always listening to cells and electrons, aware of fears and temptations. Imagine a horned man, naked and ugly, with bat-like wings, a three-pronged pitchfork, too much time. It's easier to rationalize psychosis when more is known of it than the stern, relentless fact that at one point in your life, you will enter the side pocket next to an eerie driver, weird from the alcohol. In this moment, the music in the ride is reflective of the days within the captain's seat. Always loud, often repetitive, hypnotic, reverberating off every stop sign. In mere seconds, the speed limit has doubled. Actual reality plays out. Non-biased. Our lives do not matter to nature. Thank you. Thanks for not walking out. And now if I can't stare anyone else, I definitely know I can stare myself. Hubert! Come on up here, Hubert!
Come on,
Come on, give him some love. What's going on? What you got for us?
Oh, that's something old, something new. Oh, shit. Here we go. Okay. When it pours in monsoons. They say that when it rains, it pours. However, when it pours, it can monsoon. And right now, it's like I'm in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, halfway between two homes, alone, in a raft, with a hole, and two broken oars and an old rusty pail. When I look to the west, there's a hurricane brewing. When I glimpse to the north, there's a tsunami rising. When I glance back to the south, there is a storm gathering strength. When I stare off to the east, I look for the light at the end of the tunnel. It is just not there. It was never there. The wave broke like thunder cracks, splitting my soul and my old boat in half. The old winds roar like primordial beasts. The tides turned up against the seas. The ocean swallowed me whole, and at last, grateful peace. Above, nature raged its war against opposing seas. The depth felt cold in a comfortable way, numbness away all that old pain. I let out my last breath to watch the bubbles rise. I saw Christmas dinner. I felt the first time I broke my arm. I played in kindergarten recess. I saw my mother's eyes. I kissed my first love. I crashed my car. I broke my heart. I finished my painting. I left the home. I was alone on the road. I was alive. I was hurt. I would take it all back again. I begged, please give me another chance. I saw my mother's eyes. I saw my father cry. And there, above me, to my surprise, the silhouette of my broken boat, and what looks like sunrise. With throat full of seawater, I held my lack of breath, kicked right and then kicked left, stretched my hands above my head, reaching for my old friend. I won't make it. It wasn't meant for me. Darkness fell fast for me. All of a sudden, sweet victory. Pure air, again, without the angry sea. Coughing up seawater, blood, and maybe a seaweed or two. I couldn't believe what I could see. My old boat was like new, waiting around for me. 2 new oars, no hole in the board, and a brand spanking new golden pail full of fresh rainwater. I inspect my new vessel in sheer disbelief. Is this mischief or a special treat? On the back of my new ship in golden letters so sweet, I read upside down, Monica. My heart melted away. I sat back, letting the warm air and sun dry my hair. I took a deep breath and a long, thirsty sip. Whoa. This sunrise will never end. I grabbed each oar with the might of 1,000 men and rowed my way home. Can you guess which way I went? The horizon was meant for ordinary men to die in a warm bed. In so many ways, dreams end.
Say, Hubert, would you like me to adjust the microphone?
Sure.
Yeah, let's make that more comfortable. Is that better?
That's perfect, baby.
Sweetness.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not good to.
All right. So, I think every poet in here will agree with this. There is no perfect pen. You can have several of the best pens in the world, and books upon books, bound up together to make journals, pages of woe, brimming only by golden borders and temporary bursts, streaks of sheer brilliance. You can have all the time in the world, every bottle of booze there is, every half-smoked cigarette and crushed beer can, dull razor blades and mirrors in hotel rooms, taken down from the walls, every curtain drawn to reopen again. You can have every unfinished poem and every fumbled start. You can hold on to all those little wrinkled notes and scrap napkins and dried up big pens. You can have each and every morning, sunrise and sunsets, as well as, well, keep all those ideas that never got the chance to be remembered. Keep all those. You can have them. I will keep my pens and journals, get rid of the empty bottles, smoke the last of the cigarette, and take out the beer cans. I will hang and clean the mirrors, replace the razor blades, open the curtains that have been drawn. I will start, finish, and slack on all of my poems and in my journals, and keep on looking for that perfect pen.
Yeah! Let's find out.
Doing the same job. The money machine told me there's 38 cents left.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Darn it. Well, at least I am not in debt. Shit. Wait. Never mind. Walking so tired of the same old street west on Broadway on the way home. At least for now. At least for today. If I had ran, I would have made it there before the rain began. I enjoy the rain sometimes when you have dry clothes waiting for you at home. Dark bench turned dark. The park bench turned dark. Dog walkers rushed their pets along, and the puddles formed in the street, and cars drove above them with no regard, music blaring loud, no turn signals, just red lights fading away down a nightly alley. The puddle is back now. I barely even noticed the rain until a sprinkler by a new church began raining down on the same lawn at the same time. Well, now, isn't that just nice? Nature and God doing the same job. I'm going to try to squeeze these two in. With your manners and shit.
Oh, wow.
Tell me where the road turns. Please tell me how it turns. Single shoes left under old streetlights, sitting in the ground, afraid of heights. Stars spangled billboards to death. Whitakers full of hopeless alcoholics, junkies, and meth. Heads of humans shared ideas and thoughts, got away with everything until I got caught. Drank 2 morning old coffees and teas, flipped over breakfast searching for keys. Apologizing for nothing, holding down something, terror of everything. Singing the songs she will never sing. One more, I think I have a minute left. So, way to go, kiddo. I knew you'd make it. She all believed in you so much. Darn it, you couldn't fail. Face down, hands up, drop the knife. My friend. Meanings to an end. Forgiving, never forgetting. Sweating while sinning. Singing, splashing, realizing. Demising, summarizing, visualizing. Horizons full of suns rising. Chastise me, harass me, blasphorize me. Imminent, to rewind tape decks, to pause me, be kind. Like pure sativa, be okay, like pure indica. Get a dog, a cat, or a pet, lay down words you won't regret. Way to go, kiddo. I love you all. James and Man, I'll see you guys in a month.
Wait, your lunch. Where are you going?
I'm going to Grants Pass, I'll be back.
Don't pick up your backpack.
Drive safe. Travel safe.
Nope, too late. That's right. Man. Smorgasbord. Delicious. Delicious. And now take over Grants Pass for me, please.
I got a little flag. Nah, I was gonna get soldiers. These are heavy times.
God, that's so much cool stuff.
That's
So
right.
much cool stuff.
Yeah.
Guys, look at this room full of people.
Beautiful people.
It's full of people. It's full of people! Andrew Gonzalez, come on!
They're all
This
right.
fella. And give him a big round of applause. He helped me out quite a bit.
All right. That's too much for him. Now be nice to the guy. Sensitive. Take it away.
How's everybody fucking doing?
We love it.
Revive heartfelt. A grape pinched between thumb and index skin, crushed yeast feasting on inner sweetness bubbling up is my heart. Crushed, threshed, and bruised my fruits, pressed, squeezed for the essential oil. Dough, kneaded, beat, rolled, and baked, living in the warmth, this fullness in my heart. Breaking up the fallow ground that by long drought had hardened and cracked, now moistened, shoveled, and mixed back together, ready to harvest and thresh and distinguish the wheat from the chaff. A land that drips with honeycomb, that overflows with milk and honey, and vineyards whereby the edges are left for strangers to garner that they may eat, is my heart. The surgical steel edge circumspectly sliced the self-protective layer off from the underlying sensitivity of this throbbing heart. I walk this cathedral of flesh, pulsing each step rhythm, and vulnerably I weigh the moments passing by, counting the approaching footsteps of a skeleton to tap my shoulder. Till then, every feeling is a blessing and none to be preferred, but ooh, it goes actually inside, swimming in this endless pool like heart to heart, and trying to have some sliver of heart to heart every day, because that does feel better. And the Torah said on that day, no man will have to say to his neighbor, know the Lord. For all shall know him, from the least unto the greatest, because the law was written on their hearts. Inscribed the signature of conscience, bespeaking something of who we are, unless we sear and silence it, for it is more than just our demons we repress. We repress our angels too. We suppress our compassion, and we suppress our general giving a shit when doing otherwise would make us feel too vulnerable. A chatter begins in the skull over trivialities that take us from ourselves with uncountable distractions. We lose our accountability to our noblest dreams as we drift in a sea of disillusionment. The noblest dreams, the noble aspirations, and nearly everyone could tell you what some of theirs have been. Our visions we lose sight of, worn down by the fucked up of the world. Many are merely maintaining. And yet, if we could resuscitate our better intuitions and dare to fall and arise indefinitely, but one way or another, pilgrim, if you pursued that pursuit, there'd be no way to get out of this world without leaving some good ripples drifting off behind you. At this point of sci-fi-like technology, basic humanity may need to be rediscovered. If there is enough time in the cool of the evening as the sun wanes from its waxing, I'll rediscover humanity in you, and you'll rediscover humanity in me.
Oh, where's the wisdom? As usual. You know, it's like you always learn something new from this side every week, but you learn something new. Who did that? Who the fuck did that?
Yeah, that's
It was the ghost.
Dude, I saw you do that.
Who said that?
Who said that? Who's doing that? Shit, I got all distracted. Because I was just like, because I like inform people when they're going up, and then that shit happens. We got a brand new performer. Robert Meade. Come on, Robert. You want to share anything? So, if you need anything, just let me know. Okay, that's fine. I'm here. Oh, hello. All right. Hey, you got anything? Here we go. I've been waiting for you here. I've been holding on. I got the peg in the slab. I'm twisting away.
And the key to your heart, then I won't never stop till you hear what I have to say. Forgive me, please forgive me when I smile. The next time I come home, my friend. Don't need too much, just the love of another and that sound better. If you find me in your heart now, if you understand, take a hold of my hand, and when that rain goes crashing down, I'll be there picking up the faulty crown. If you ever had a doubt in your mind, I'll make it hard to find. Want you to know, want you. Want you to know, if you just give me a chance to love again, it's best you understand. I won't ever let you down. We got two beautiful eyes that I'll make you know. Please believe me. Don't leave me now. Don't float away. Baby, don't float away from this time. This town, gonna be home, my friend. Want you now, want you back, want you to know, I want you, want you to know, I'm coming home. How much more time do I have? Many.
Tell you what, 2 more songs. How's that?
2 more songs?
Yeah.
My songs are a little long. How about just 1 more song?
Okay, 1 more song.
Oh,
then.
yeah.
Yeah.
lights move across the horizon, captivating now every move. Through your eyes creeps the darkest of nights. At this moment I belong to you. Standing on the rooftop, choosing our words, looking towards the future, this fear and standing still. That of a split second before being hurled to space and time together at a hasty speed, building a life is something that we both can believe in, traveling faster than light, burning up, breaking apart, collapsing the atmosphere around the heart. Tired mind, it files away softly from the shadow on the wall, and through the silence, oh, you can hear them laughing. Who's gonna be here when they're falling down, standing on the rooftop, choosing our words, looking towards the future, this fear and standing still. That of a split second before being hurled in space and time, forever at a hasty speed, building a something we both can believe in, traveling faster than light, burning out, breaking apart, collapsing the atmosphere around the heart, collapsing the atmosphere around your heart, collapsing the atmosphere around the heart.
Yeah!
Groovy. Bruce Campbell, The Army of Darkness, 1980 something. That was really groovy. Fucking love it. Love it! Alright, next up we got Joshua Mertz.
Joshua!
Ah, yes, the tale of the tentacle.
Do you need that stool?
No, I had a stool sample earlier. Just took a little out of the lake there, you know. So I have some from the heart, and we'll end in a comedic way. I'll end with a cheesy love song. This is called Muted Sky. She comes with the rain and the muted sky, a pale breeze, faceless, yet bearing the wind and stillness as an open garment, demanding that you see her scars, inviting the memory of sun and how her eyes looked in the morning, and those early years, before the invisible pressure turned it all to clouds and rain. It's interesting how so many of the people here in the room and who roll through the world of poetry, you write about pain. This is called the learned reflex of sadness. The clouds part and the sun comes out in patches. The lawn and the flowers are afraid. They do not know the sun. Having been raised in the dark and dim, they shun the light, while desiring it to their roots. Drinking the light down into the earth, the lawn and the flowers know how to want, but they have forgotten the way and are afraid to revel in the sun and eat the air. They think that all water is tears. It is the truth of seedlings that they cannot stop from flowering and putting up stems, but the flowers and the lawn have a deep history of reflex, and at the parting of clouds, do not trust the light. As many of you know, I got a new house, I'm so pleased, and the door faces east, so I get up in the morning, like we're talking morning, 5 a.m., and about 5:30, the sky begins to lighten, and bright high in the sky is Venus. So I wrote, the open door. At the open door, the black sky dreams of an indigo awakening. A tumble of clouds catch the possibility of the sun, and above this awakening, floating in the oncoming indigo, Venus, the star of love, burns bright. Standing in the doorway, I wish for love, hoping to be worthy. Reality, still sipping its coffee, whispers, you will have to work for it. Your part is more than dreaming. Work in the bright sun and the mystery of night. I go back for more coffee. The sun rises, Venus fades. The day begins. And now let's lighten the mood. I did not write a squid limerick, but I wrote a squid ballad. And I read it last week, and I was all squiddy-eyed, couldn't quite get it because it was too dim in here. So I'll read it with more gusto this week. This is called The Drunkard and the Unwilling Squid. A syphilitic cephalopod was roaming the ocean bottom when a homely, horny fisherman cast out a net and caught him. The horny, hunkering fisherman was a raging alcoholic, so when he touched the slimy squid, he felt an urge to frolic. The squid was writhing angrily. It fought and squirmed and struggled, and yet the horny fisherman cooed and stroked and snuggled. And thus the sexual act began. The furious cephalopod wriggled. The fisherman then dropped his pants and smiled and drooled and giggled. The squid was having none of this. He did not suffer fools. He wrapped a tentacle or two around the family jewels. The squid was nowhere to be seen when the fisherman washed ashore. The angler sings soprano now. His hormones are no more. And last week, a guy got up and he said he writes a lot of cheesy love songs. I thought, I can write a cheesy love song. I can do this. So I sat down and I worked on this real hard to try to write the perfect cheesy love song. It's called Cheesy Love Song. This is just another cheesy love song, full of dairy-centered metaphors. Not to prove the angels up above wrong, but most love songs are such a dreary bore. My darling moves me to be cheesy, making rhymes that are so easy. That gal can sure entice a fella, a lovely, creamy mozzarella. She's a glorious, womanly Amazon, spicier than the finest Parmesan. And in my heart, I know she's better than the sharpest Vermont cheddar. And as for smooth, she's a female Buddha, munching on the finest Gouda. I'm lucky that she likes to share that heady whiff of camembert. On weekends, I just love to get a taste of her, like tangy feta. Her loving kisses set me free, like hot and steamy, creamy brie. She made me blue in Monterey, Jack. But Colby said to win her back, don't need a tangy, sharp retort, no need to be like Roquefort. Just tell her that she's way more neater than a block of orange Velveeta. She's finer than fermented dairy, intense and sweet and sometimes scary. She's quite a lady, safe to say. She pleases me like curds and whey. And that's why this song of love comes easy, and why these rhymes are oh so cheesy.
This is the best audience ever. Truly a good audience. I love cheese though. You know? I wonder whatever happened to cheese. What happened to it?
I eat cheese all the time, man.
I've never heard of this stuff. This crazy stuff. You know, I don't know what it is with you and your cephalopods, but I can tell you, sometimes I just want to go deep in the ocean and just pretend, I'm here. You know. Woo! No, I want to go deep in the ocean. What the fuck are those types of squids that are still in shells? What are those called?
Cuttlefish.
I want to eat one! And that's all I got to say. That was fucking lovely. Alright, next up, Charles!
You're a hot
All right. This is not a squid poem, but it does start out explicit, and I hope you'll accept it in the tone and manner that it was intended. It's called Well of Wonder. To cup a woman's vulva in your palm, and close your eyes and kiss the moistened lips. To feel a love in passion, all there is, and by her sighs and how she lifts her hips. Or hold a newborn baby in your hands, its vernixed head still wet from sacred birth, and see the well of wonder in its eyes as it unfolds in waters of the earth. And on a dying father's ancient head, place a loving hand to let him go, to stand alone in grieving, less like pain than a solitary journey each must know. To let them leave and take the parent's place, and release to wind, watch their ashes fly. Then walk your grandchildren home from school and see the well of wonder in their eyes. We stand upon the precipice of life, to soon surrender all we've made and done, to forgive ourselves for failing where we have, and glory in the love that we have won. So cup the morning's passion to your heart, like a lover, live it to the end. Part the lips with wonder in your eyes. Pass through the day, we enter night again.
Wow. Good job, Charles.
That's my Amy impression. I sounded just like her too.
Yeah. Good job, Charles.
Oh.
Sexy. I love it! I love it. This is a mature event, if anyone's got a problem with that. Fucking go watch Cartoon Network. Watch some Flapjack.
We're
I like
all
Flapjack.
here.
Bring Flapjack back! That's quality poetry right there. All of it, non-stop.
Yeah.
I love it. I miss this so much. It's like, it's not like just being born, because when you're just born, you don't remember that fucking shit. Who remembers being born?
I do.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go Raven.
Okay. I won't, argue with that. That's fine. Marcus! Coming up here. Let's see.
It's good.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah, appreciate it.
Of course.
All right, so this is one of the first poems actually. Well, I wouldn't even consider it a poem actually. It's more of a rant. But this is one of the things that I kind of like really kind of looked at myself like in a serious way as far as writing and want to progress my writing. So I'm just going through some of my old stuff. I was like, wow, I haven't actually ever performed this. So here we go. Could you imagine events in history were different and no one knew war, suffering, or hopelessness? Where people strive for prosperity. No one lives in poverty. Instead, people are hungry for knowledge. Instead of learning how to fight, we'd be fighting to love. Instead of money and time being spent on the advancement of warfare, we'd advance our society to better everyone's time here on earth. Instead of living to work, we'd be living to live, and passion outweigh profits. We could turn on our televisions and expect to see good news. Bad news would be surprise rather than surplus. We could log into social media feeling drained and log off feeling inspired, knowing that us being different is the same difference. Better yet, if we could disconnect from all these distractions, maybe we could connect with improving our actions. Depression and suppression would be as rare as peace and equality is today. Trust wouldn't be a privilege, but rather a necessity, and health insurance actually ensured the insurance of your health. Where love would be valued and people would value your worth. We'd be working towards backing our existence rather than facing our extinction. The rich would be helping the poor, and struggle would be substituted with stability. Instead of appreciating material things, we appreciate our spiritual well-being. Our kids would have a future to look forward to without the past holding them back, and the present would actually be a present. Or if our knowledge gave us celebrity status just as much as ignorance does nowadays, your life would matter just as much as theirs. If we took the time to research, there would be no searching for hope because we already found a hero inside of ourselves. He wouldn't worry and she could relax. This could be us, but me holds we back. If you read between the lines, tell me what you see. What is doesn't necessarily have to be. Our mind is a beautiful thing, but don't let it go to waste because we need to understand humanity in order to save the human race. And that's number one.
Wow.
I want you to put that All right. I don't know when I wrote this, but I found it. All right, let me perform this. Surrounded by this negative energy, I don't know what's gotten into me. On my journey to the light, but I'm cautious of this exit that I'm entering. Reborn, and I see a new day, and nothing was the same. See, I try to explain it to my friends, but they think I've gone insane. But tell me, how am I insane when I'm only questioning how I experience these things that science can explain? Causing a split between my brain, I see the world for what it is. It's different from what I knew, and now I know I don't know shit. This hidden knowledge is a trip. The less I know, the more I hunger. I see somewhere along the way we
lost our appetite to wonder. What the hell is really out there? Were our ancestors trying to warn us if we don't get closer to the spirit, life is over as we know it? I feel something big is gonna happen. It woke me up out of my slumber. I snapped out of this hypnotic trance that I've been under. It started in January 2016. I woke up one early morning, numb to all my emotions, and I couldn't feel a thing. I didn't know who I was or what I was. I'm going crazy. See, who can I trust? This army shit really fucked me up, and alcohol was my favorite drug. Once I moved my ego to the side, I saw my life on instant replay. I went from I don't want to live to I don't want to live this way. I had to relive my past life history to find these clues to solve this mystery. I had to turn and face the music. Now my life's a fucking symphony. All it took was a few epiphanies. It was true that wisdom comes with time. I finally figured out that I had to close my eyes to open my mind. When I made this journey back through, when I made that journey through the dark, I became a little more enlightened. I remember I had this convo with this bus driver on this bus that I was riding. He told me what life meant to him. His views were really interesting. Before I got off the bus, let me start that over. He told me what life meant to him. His views were really interesting. Before I got off the bus, he felt that there was something worth mentioning. He said depression was nature's way of letting you know you need to change. Out of our entire conversation, that's all I recall I heard him say. I didn't know at the time, but this man was very wise. I realized I came out of these depressions after following the signs. There was a few steps I had to take in order for life to wake me up. See, I couldn't have known creation without destruction, or love this deep without the suffering. Amass this guilt that I've been covering, the inner me I'm rediscovering. And in all of this discovering, I recognize the truth. If we want to help each other, here's what we have to do. If you're waiting for the government to hold your breath, you can change the world when you change yourself. And that's it. Thank you.
You know, sometimes I just can't stop. It's like the world's so fucked, but it's not completely fucked. And you know, I just love it, and I think it's just damn important to hear it. And I agree completely. You know, I do. Woo! I say probably like 300%. Like if I cloned myself.
I would! I'd totally fucking do that. You know, it also helped me with any, you know, dark thoughts. I'm like, okay, finally I did it, but I'm still alive. That's fucked up! Who's next? Ryan!
Come on, Ryan! Woo! Back to Florida.
Yep. Hello, everybody. So, okay. So, I really love this thing, you know, but sometimes I'm like, wow, I really am addicted to this thing.
What, your phone?
Yeah. So, I wrote this little rap hip-hop song to kind of remind me not to let it control me. So anyway, this is called the Cell Phone Zombie Apocalypse.
Oh, yeah!
This is the high holy hip-hop holiday. Listen closely now to the words I say. I got that lyrical nirvana. It's so divine. So sit back and listen with a glass of wine. My lyrics are sophisticated like an Ivy League college. Now open up your ears and receive the knowledge. What's the deal with kids today and all their cell phone screens? Adults do it too, you know what I mean. They're reading on a subject or they're speaking their mind. Half the time people are awake, they are spending online. Have we forgotten what it is? Or have we forgotten about what it is to be alive? Or have we all just zoned up and joined out with the hive? We got more people reading now than ever before, but in a social setting, staring at your cell phone's a bore. Have you ever tried to talk to someone wasting time on their phone? It's like a room full of people, but everybody's alone. So don't be a menace and don't be a blight. Have some etiquette and use your phone right. Remember, you may really only live your life once, so put down your phone and don't be a dunce. Like everything in life, there's a time and a place. So put down that phone and put a smile on your face. Use it for writing lyrics, for maps or making calls. But when you're around your friends, put it down and have some balls. Fight anxiety and strike up a discussion. Smartphones are like a toilet and they'll have your life flushing. I'm not saying never use it, it's a useful tool, but when you're on it all the time, you look like a fool. Thank you.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. You know what? I fucking agree. And you know what's ironic as all hell?
I agree completely. That's fucking beautiful. Social media is an absolute fucking, you know, they're like, oh, it's like cancer. No. Social media is like smoking. It's like smoking.
Makes you cough.
All your friends are doing it. It gives you mental asthma. No, but it's nastiness, you know. James Otter, you can find me on Facebook, Code Overlord, Twitter. You can look for me on WordPress. You know, there's a Page 2 Poetry official page, YouTube, you know, and there's K-Rager 2004 also on YouTube. Anyway, yeah, social media, it's a fucking virus. It's like, yeah, it's horrible, you know, that's right, James Otter, you know, you can find me, you know, Numerica Charlie, also on Twitter. Anyway, fucking, you know, so if I was rich enough, I could say I'm a really good hypocrite, but I'm not.
Thank you, Brian.
Brian!
Amy.
Okay.
You know, plus it's gonna be a while again, too.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah, until you're back up here again.
Actually, my move got delayed. I'll be here next week too. Then they'll be rid of me.
They're playing with my heartstrings.
I need this. Okay. Before I do my usual rant type shit, I actually have a sweet one. For John Keats. But that I'd been alive to tell you, skip past that shattering crowd, the sense of fashion, the academic credentials. Your work became well loved after you left us and will live on forever. Perhaps those spirits who breathe words through you now faithfully guard them and lean over my shoulder when a little teardrop slips out of my eyes and onto your page. I want them to really need me. The plantation owner thinly smiled, trying to hide his rage. His hand twitched, perhaps a body memory of wielding the lash. How dare those ungrateful bastards, they who I gave the tastiest morsel from my table? That knee they give me should only be for acts of supplication. After all, they still need me to rise up by their bootstraps, don't they?
Oh.
All right, this is going to take some bravery. I allegiance to Mother Earth, who made this country already great. Before white man came, enslaved Africans killed native peoples and had their women do their bidding or else be cast off to die. Before an impoverished widow named Betsy Ross tried to feed her children, got paid to make a flag for some man who could vote and have a voice while she was expected to shut up and sew. I pledge allegiance to any and all of my friends and loved ones who love the land, this land, and treat it with respect. I pledge allegiance to sporting events where women are not relegated to the sidelines like eye candy chattel, but get to participate equally, and where nobody's forced to salute and regurgitate a hypocritical oath to a goddamn piece of cloth. I take a knee while I pledge allegiance, since it reminds me of the benefits of humility. It reminds me of prayer, and it puts me in an excellent position to pick up litter and plant a tree, which is how I show my love for my country. That hurt my knee.
America. Man, you ever just feel like I went to Spain. That's why I wasn't here 2 weeks ago. And last week. Whatever. Fuck it. And every time people ask me where I was from, I said Oregon. And they're like, oh, where's that? I'm like, certainly not in the U.S. Seriously, I don't associate with this goddamn country. I'm mad. Why couldn't we fucking have like a good celebrity as the president? Why do we have to have The Apprentice? What about
George Clooney.
Yeah, we could have George Clooney. I mean, he doesn't know shit about politics. He could fuck things up, but at least he's charming. Fucking Donald Rump, whatever, Ronald, fucking, Ronald Rump, fucking Mr. Goddamn, I'll brag about fucking being a dickhead, fuck that guy. I mean, seriously, it's like, okay, nuclear war. Yeah, that's not funny. It's even more unfunny when he's like trying to press the button like this. Fucking dickhead. All right, moving on. Savannah, come on up here.
So I forgot my poetry book at someone's house. So we get to play another game of poetry roulette. Maybe. Oh, well, yeah, we read that one last week. I think I overstayed my indoor welcome.
That was quick.
That was one-liners. Okay. Welcome back to my space. Your seats might even still be warm. Persistence got the best of my rationale. I roll. Oh my God. How I could just stretch my skin just to fit you. The way our lips intertwine. Rhythm off beat of our own awkwardness. My fair-weathered fam, your patterns of behavior are as tried and true as the raindrops in Oregon. Just as quick to delete you off my snaps. Insert cutesy emoji, press send. My legs are quick to wide open availability. These boundaries, hypothetically speaking, you're just a fuck. Stirred together, perfect illusions, melted into silence, sealed with a unicorn kiss. Wrap your arms around me, whisper into my ear, pretty lies that I will never believe. I say I won't go back, but this chemistry got me tripping on your dick. Oh, but your weakness did I spy with my all-seeing eyes. There is no intrapersonal growth here, watching you fade into the figment of my imagination until the next time I need another quick fix. Woo! In my hand, I hold my mortality, a season, a birthday, a lunar cycle. These are lines I wrote on the floor at Beats Antique. The masks go down and it's so perfect. In these moments, we make these choices. Pass the duchy to the left-hand side as we debate the age-old question of why, but oh why do we fear death as you flick the ash into the tray? Welcome to this life. It's a fucking beautiful mess. I view this world in perspectives drawn into lines. I choose not to stay within. I wrote this on my bike ride this morning. Articulation in words placed onto prose. Thank you for reading to us. No, thank you for listening. Now let it go.
Oh man, that fucking missing the point. I'm not gonna miss the point. What?
I was pointing at the point.
Yeah, whatever. You know, God damn. No, I love it though. And also that feather boa, she was like totally trying to get me to wear that. I need a, you know, like I need a mane. I got one. I hate that.
You could wear a boa.
Yeah, I could do whatever I want.
Wear a python.
Yeah, I could do that too if I wasn't afraid of snakes. You know? So, we only have a few more poets left. The show's almost over. Beck! Coming up here! Beck! Now sit on that. It's a little wet.
Yeah, I think I'm
Take it
gonna stand.
away!
Alright.
It's good to lean on.
Alright. This one's called Thoughts on Time. I shed that dull skin long ago, those haunted masks of constricting barbed wires. Of course there are always weeds to pull, lessons of balance, give fearlessly and receive gratefully, ensure my continuous growth. Alright, this one's called Shapeshifting. Sex with self never wetter. I flow, ebb, peak, and repeat. Sex alone sometimes better. All my forms together, uncaged and unleashed. Alright. Describing aura. Sharper than I've ever been. Crows rest on my third eye. Phoenix ready to chase this moon. Will you keep up or simply watch and stand by? Cauldron of my gut is brewing. Little body houses soul in flames, erupting through the fence of my crackling ribcage. Crimson concoction of passionate pagan, laced with poly-pansexuality, rim salted with extra potent kink on the rocks of sodomy. Sip at your own risk and of your own accord. I'll fall on you like scalding water, cackle and devour on all fours. Okay. I am low-key devoted one, tenacious pincers and savage mouth. I am spewing onto 3 or 4 canvases at once. I am puzzles of words in my head, bed, on my knees and in thirst. I am symphonies you have not yet heard. I am darkest caverns of your most hazardous dive. I am magician, journey in the fog between below truth and above lies. I am grinning moon, proud sphinx, queen of cups, and the empress. I am searing dance of bone and flesh. My embers hypnotize all who witness.
Oh man, I feel like I've been under a spell. Those are so cool. Guys, and that's been fucking awesome. Am I right?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
If anyone's having a bad night, they're not here, are they?
Yeah, that would cheer 'em up.
Jacobra, I'm ready to ship the roof.
Huh?
Come on up here, Mr. Nonsense Master. Oh man, this town's full of those. Oh yeah, take it away!
Coherences for the weak.
Up, six, mooned, out, towered, in, craftwork. Shermenter protests ran down in upper live metals, buck feet, pancakes of morticalip. Rami, cumin, Rami, cumin, Remy, Cummins, slapped eye, shunning.
Oh, here we go.
Evix, Shrevel, on Tonics Crescent, green, genetic, repurple, gentit, much more pink. Many gods grow up Niku on Niku's met on here. Chit was maybe 4 months old. 2 weeks prior, good dog meet Micah's stepdaughter, ton older now. Gold curly glasses, so not wide, not be saccharid of demons. It's good to vocalize overload is return in segments, radiation demons, stretching our words out across dream screens, turning toenails green, and Greekly greased in specia on specia, sheepia, saipid, tonal feelers on my gizzard, found gift, sporn, bestial, and likened itself, and found out a wave formed sucking in a formation of a wave locked in tread, and a sucking under tower under in showering hydrovolemic sick steen footer morning before the day before 9/11 ready for a long drama and less stressed feelings. Jean was the freedom and Skillian plan on killing simply happy. I enjoyed the time. I tried sutures in easing, Kames, Jame, Bohem in art voice, terre weird in combination in visibility and out vision. Poets amper, fair fear driven. Chatter last cross, I'm not lonely, I have myself to talk in what cap is the underworkings, driven singularity in qualities forbidden, it shins titanium into the tibia of the victorium, unvictor, double victimothy, in camera phonetic love dripping in silhouetted diamond, bloody with dirt cereal in breakfast's first cup. Mind fleeting in weeping off a Subitin pin. In crying soup it chowders powders, pouting clam juice, pounding distension, unbelievably cooling our instrument, the rapping red engine light up floor bed, crashing in worship of each other's best of friends, veering to the leftmost orchidtic rachnoid arched over webbing brainstem out splayed to the system, nervously webbed, spider-headed cauldron brain, mind of a chemical dumpster, body of a runoff digestion, over-soaked in lather formation, in play and blood shifter, one down time the other, follows put it back. Repelling and inward, left earns outward, coasting and rolling back towards maximum rotation. Portions in position. Caption open, loadly nature's driveway. Just for you, care for it, take you out and of it and freedom. Sings. Hoisin sauce running blankets in the washer out in sauce segments. The churn caution of descension, breathing in shallow victims, dread in stomach gutters running, clogging awakened, lick the force out of the brain, vein, triggered, dreaming, suffering in the sun's child, electrocuted by its extra batteries, brain stems, reaction to shutdown. Bread, liquid, weed, sudden moment, vivid sensation, cavity in murmured lips, whispering the taken words. Oh, I love you so much.
We love you too. Girl, dude, so cool.
So fucking cool. So cool. Oh yeah, the effects. What effect?
Whoa.
Is anyone else? This is distracting.
Thank you.
That makes a lot of sense. It's a visual journey.
It is.
And it's
There was a lot of
difficult.
better and
You know, it's intense. It's really intense. I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I've felt like that before.
Maybe cough.
Yeah, you know, I cough all the time.
That means it's good.
No, it means I'm not doing too good. Too good.
No, it means it's a funny poem. It means it's cough.
Oh yeah, I hate that. I hate when anyone else have that problem here where you laugh and then you start coughing.
Yeah.
It makes me sad. It makes you sad, doesn't it? It's Cindy outside. Cindy, are you listening? No, don't do that to her. She's hanging out by herself outside. Makes you sad, doesn't it? To see so many people hurting. I don't remember the words. Let me think. We're almost done with the show. There's 3 poets left. Oh, God.
Is Cindy the next one?
No, Cindy's just one of my best friends in the whole wide world. He's awesome.
And who's been hanging out in the sidelines? Jules, Steve.
Jules!
Thank you very much. I would like to make a comment concerning all the poets tonight. You're outstanding, and they are mild. All right, I got a statement to make here. There was a gypsy named Santini, and he said, I have an easy smile, I have an easy laugh, but secretly, I think this is a mad, mad, mad world. And you know that gypsy was the word in the ancient world for hippie. Now, speaking of previews and preambles and things to come, I intend to read for Halloween the great poem by E. Cummings called Halloween. His most famous poem, complimenting by groundbreaking special effects. E. Cummings is eternally linked to gurus of beatnik poetry. Can I get some clicking fingers?
Click, 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 click. Groovy, man. Far out.
I will also be reading another of his masterpieces called The Psychoanalysis of Mankind. All right.
Dig it.
My speech has been made, and I'm going to read you some song lyrics. My latest one is a real great meditation, and I call it, this is not the actual title of it, but what I call it is The Song of Grandpa. You know about the Song of Grandpa. He's always talking about what a great hero he was in the war that before you were born. Or he's got a story to tell, you know, about a place and a time that you never heard of. And so the name of this poem, song, lyric is called When Broadway Was a Pasture by Joseph McCarthy, 1911. I know this town. I've been around, seen most everything there is to see. Been in each cafe, turned night into day. But I don't think New York is the place for me. I suppose there was a time I might have liked this town. That was many years ago, but with imagination, let us sweep those buildings down. Now, imagine daisies growing on Broadway. Ah, yes. When Broadway was a lovely pasture, and 42nd Street was but a lane, and they used to feed the cows on what is Times Square now. Herald Square was a field of grain, and Manhattan was the loneliest place on earth. There was only 50 people to be found, but each fellow was a friend, on him you could depend. But things are mighty different now. On time you must allow. What Broadway was, when Broadway was a pasture you could not ignore. So that was when Broadway was a pasture.
Wow. Is that E. Joseph McCarthy? Oh.
Okay, I left something out, but okay. Well, there's been a lot of sexuality here tonight. It's been kind of steaming, and we're going to add a little bit of spice to this. This is called In the Dark. Now, what's going to happen in the dark? We're going to explain that right now. You may not be able to see it, okay? By Billy Hill. Alone at last, no one to hear us and nothing near us, just stars above. Beneath a cloud, the moon is hidden, as if forbidden in this hour of love. In the dark, you and I, not a sound, not a sigh, just the beat of a heart in the dark. In the dark, what a thrill, fingertips on my lips, begging me to be still in the dark. Soon the dance will be ending. We are sure to be missed. Ah, but I am not pretending. It's fun to be kissed. In the dark, we will find what the rest have left behind. Let them dance. We'll romance. In the dark, there's nothing that's harmful. When you have a sweet little armful, we can hear the music from afar, and nobody knows where we are. Alas, you're gone. I'll have to feel around for your naked body in the dark. Take those sunglasses off, please. Walking Hand in Hand by Johnny Cowell, 1955. Walking hand in hand with me through all eternity. Have faith, believe in me, give me your hand. Love is a symphony of perfect harmony. When lovers such as we walk hand in hand, we are not afraid, for I am with you. So lift your head up high and look toward the sky. Walk hand in hand with me. God is our destiny. No greater love could be when we walk hand in hand, just we three.
I will not take my sunglasses off, even though I cannot see.
In the dark.
And I'm not going to make the next line rhyme. Because I'm a jerk. Yeah, I love it. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about, though. You know, you give credit where credit's due. It's like you get to share the legends with us. Yeah. The legends with us. God, that's so fun. I love it, though. I really do. This has been one fucking hell of a night.
Yeah.
Heaven of a night, or whatever. Paradiso. I don't know. Hell nights suck. This isn't a hell night. This is a good night. Hell nights are terrible. I think everyone in this room knows what I'm talking about. And if you don't, unfortunately, you will. We have 2 performers left. Woo! Raven, come on up here.
Go, girl.
Rave on.
Right on. That's right. Rhetorical rhetoric. ... comma, ... Bleh. Bleh, blah, bleh. Bleh. Blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Meh. Meh, bleh, bleh. Blah, blah. Bleh. Meh, bleh, bleh. Blah, blah. Bleh. Oh, bleh. Blah, 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 blah. I blah, 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 meh, meh, blah. Oh. I bless, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 ha, 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 ha. I meh, ma, meh, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 meh. Blah, 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 blah. I wasn't sure if I was going to read this tonight.
You're killing it. I love it. I fucking love this.
I ma. Yes. I blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. What? Oh.
Yeah, I blah, 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 blah. Dot, 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 dot. Ew. Blah, blah, blah? No, I haven't heard of that. I blah, blah, blah. I blah, 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 blah. Excuse me, Mr. President, where's your bathroom? That's like, when they're discussing really important shit. Well, he thinks it. Something nice and shiny on the desk. What is that? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, here we go. Let's see, what's the next one? Okay, let's play. Shit. All right, here we go. Well, this one's a little like about me. So there's a question that Cora put on and I answered. It says, what made you angry today? All right, well, let's see. I woke up with a headache. I have health problems from abusing my body. I abuse my body as a result of people that think they know what is best for me. I am trans. After being on estrogen for years, I got off and got on E and on testosterone. E is estrogen. I went through reparative therapy and it damaged my body and I almost died. So now, reparative therapy is where they try to fix you, an organized religion. They want to say, you're trans, that's wrong, so we're going to fix you and we're going to convert you in a way that's going to make you good for us. Fuck off. Anyways, so now I get to wake up with health problems and be reminded of my choices and hate and the hate of the organized religion. And then I process and move on. It is what it is. I cannot be angry all the time. I have to live with my health issues and make the best of it. Cry if I have to, and then get on with my life. Okie doke, artichoke. Woo! Thank you. How about, let's see here now. Where's that one I was going to read? Goodness gracious. Well, it was here. I can't find it now. There's the POTUS one. I read that last time. There it is. All right, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. All right, imagine being 54 years old. Imagine going back 50 years. Imagine growing up at 4 years old, but you are 54. Imagine doing that with no parents, no blood relations, no partner, and having to manage your life. Deal with depression, anxiety, fear, loneliness, and PTSD. Take care of your body and home. Deal with the public, being misgendered, punished by people for standing up for your rights. Be it simple statement of, I am a woman and not a man, and punished by men and women for it. And then having health problems. Add in the PTSD, the nightmares, and the fear of intimacy, because you can get physically sick beyond the touch of a handshake or a hug. Imagine fighting for your health care, having to worry about the doctor in front of you, having to present your case, hoping the doctor will listen or get it and help you. Imagine thinking you have to read and study as much medical books and case studies as you can so you can speak medical terms to the doctor so he will listen to you and get you the needed care. Now imagine having to do a lot or most of the above every fucking day. Imagine wanting to give up because you just cannot handle some days and want to hide from the world, wishing there was someone there who you can trust, who can just do it for you at least 1 or 2 days. Note, torn between the desire to be alone and wanting to have a partner, the battle and the fear. You want to be with another, but you feel all this fear of so many things, worrying they will not understand or listen, worrying they will not respect you because you are trans. All this comes up, and so you just sabotage every single effort anyone makes. Safer? Probably so. After all, it is all you have known. There is one, most beautiful one, goodness. Comes around like a little bird sometimes. Hello, darling. Hope? Should I go there? I want him. But safer here, huh? Been there for a long time, but the inner desire. Sometimes, imagine there are times you want to die of cancer. Why? Because if you die of cancer, there will be people there for you, medical people to come and check on you while you are dying and unable to take care of yourself. Imagine knowing that as you die, you have nothing left but your fleeting life and the hospice people. The hospice people will be the ones who give you all the care. However minute it is, and you feel like someone is actually caring on a level that makes you feel valued. Because all you got left is your small, insignificant life for however long and valued it is in this one moment with that one person. Because you do not do it for your looks. They do not do it for your looks, your money, or what you own. They are doing it because they choose to. It is their job, and you know it. Now imagine you may live as old as your father, as 95 years old. Imagine you are scared to live 41 more years with all of that shit. On any given day, you may seem happy, sad, overwhelmed, or angry. Thank you. Oh man, I hate to cut you off. I was like fucking deep in it. Dude, that happens to me all the time. Every poetry night, I always get deep in it. That's what you gotta do when you come here. You just gotta take your shoes off and get ready for the poetry.
So, one final performer, and then I was thinking about doing a bonus poem. Yeah. Maybe. Good. Woo! Joseph!
Joseph!
Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down that red hair, that fiery carrot mane, all tangled and matted, with your busy fingertips all absolutely ratted. I remember standing in the entry and Strider there all grouching. He'd comb out your hair before I take you into court, he grumbled as he simpered in your little girl voice. It's not often I think of you, it was 30 years ago, but it's not often we say goodbye to your lawyer, and it was strange. It was just this weekend, and actually, that we got around to saying goodbye to Strider. He passed a couple of years ago. He's a University of Chicago lawyer who, last time I talked to him, he was picking up cans and bottles here. He wasn't paying his bar fee because it's a fucking ton of money if you aren't making any money practicing law, but in his day, he was the rainbow lawyer. And way back when, our county sheriffs had some, well, sort of typical male ideas about women and their childbirth and the way they did things, and Rapunzel had her own ideas. Not very typical, but they worked. Her little sect, they didn't believe in cutting hair, they didn't cut hair, they didn't cut foreskins, and they didn't cut the umbilical cord before it's done, which is a couple days after birth when it shrivels and falls off. And she told them that the only problem was her presence when she had her perfectly healthy baby in her arms and his perfectly healthy placenta there, cradled safely, but they were sure that they knew better, and so the placenta splattered on the highway. Shabaya went into foster care for months, and Rapunzel went to the Johnson unit for her 3 weeks, but I got not too long. This was before I even met her, but it's absolutely fascinating. You know, frankly, I sort of wish I had known that she was already pregnant when she came to visit me, because it came to live with me, because things might have been different. I wasn't about to conceive a kid who already had a brother in the limbo of the government, but I was in love with that woman. And, while she was insistently procreative, I would have just been quite happy raising a kid. But it was rather interesting. It's been 30 years, and I haven't thought of that person in all this time. But I watched for a year as my friend. And can you hear me?
Louder. Maybe speak into the
Okay, I thought, okay. Yeah, for about a year, I got to watch my friend go through the whole process of convincing the government that she could raise a child while she was carrying another child, and it worked. But it was a rather interesting year, and I'd almost forgotten it until first a couple of years ago. Well, first I ran across Strider when he was sitting at the beanery, picking up cans and bottles on his way out of town. I'd already heard he was dead once, so it was like, oh, you're still alive. But last I heard, it was a couple of years ago, and it's like, oh, you were married to this woman I've known for 18 years from a completely different connection? Okay. And it was a couple of years later that things came together to actually have a memorial, so that was it. And I just wanted to share a little bit of one of the craziest times of my life.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you, Joseph. You know what this means, don't you?
Oh boy.
Do you know what this means? It means the show's just about over. You know, it'd be lovely if I just had a little, clap on, clap off, but that just fucked everything up because everything's always clapping all the time. So, this is the clapper. The clapper. My house has the clapper. So it has been quite the evening, has it not?
Yes.
I just gotta get the atmosphere right, because pretty soon all the lights will be off.
Oh,
All right. This is actually my bonus poem.
yeah.
One of my latest ones
Bonus.
for a new series I'm doing with a friend called The Secret City. Love does not apply itself to Newtonian law or that of thermodynamics. In a brief moment of showmanship, what little power the driver has to save himself passes like a fly in time, quickly. No slow motion moments of self-reflection, knocked unconscious by the impact, combined with the sheer and sudden push of a recently installed airbag, is not enough to save anybody, including the driver and whoever is in the back seat. Senses fail, warm blood on a cold night, pooling the floor with the front chamber. Blood never stops reproducing. Secret cities, the living ghost town. Have you ever found yourself inside a windowless building? I was driving across the country for the first time when I came upon a town with a population of 500. The streets were poorly maintained, and it was clear to me that this was a rough place to live. Many of the houses were adorned in antiquated lead paint, foreclosed or abandoned. Industrial trash boxes lined the streets. This town had everything. All of you know those rules don't apply to me. This town had everything any town needs. A post office, a supermarket, and a liquor store. Packs of stray dogs policed the main street. This was no place to break down. Stopping for gas was a bad idea. I knew deep down, if I stopped my car, it would never start again. Never, ever, ever. People vary from place to place. The only people I have seen were not people at all. Whimsy is the last word I would use. Not for a little burg like this. I had assumed in a place so small, passing through would be the easiest option. Getting myself nice and lost, until I had no choice but to find a gas station, refuel, purchase a map, and leave. It was Sunday and everything was closed. I could get stranded on the Great American Highway, or I could get stabbed in a seedy hotel room. In this living ghost town, there was a secret, great hum, distracting me from my essential survival. I followed it, first in my car, and then on foot. It was coming from a manhole cover, next to an old-fashioned fire truck, painted red, white, and blue. The noise felt familiar, like something I had heard as a child. Losing control for a moment, prying at the lid, breaking my nails in the process. What was down there? It sounded like a crowd of people going about their business. Little did I know, under my feet, an entire city was waiting for me. I have seen strange instances, men and women, couples rather, phasing through solid brick walls. This couldn't possibly be connected. It is, though. Everything is connected to me. And my sick, playful mind. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming out. It's good to be back. I hope to see all of you and the people who left next week. Bye. Bye.